Hi and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Monday, September 10th, 2018. This is episode 315. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week, and if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show and you'll come back in the future. As you can see, I'm flying solo this week. Actually, my sister is downstairs working, and I'm recording in midday. We were going to record tonight, but it turns out she has plans, and we had plans last night, so just didn't work out, so you just have me today, but hopefully you'll stick around. I have lots of things to show, and it should be a shorter episode as long as I don't run my mouth. So you'll notice I'm recording from our old angle because I don't have to fit two people in the screen. I can sit mainly in front of my desk, though I'm kind of straddling the tripod to show you everything, so and to get a good angle. But I don't have all the fancy lights set up today, but yeah, we'll just go with it and see how things turn out. I'm trying to really focus at looking at the camera and not looking at myself. Recording on the iPad, usually it's not that noticeable when the camera's farther away, but since you're, I don't know, about a foot away from me right now, I need to focus on the camera, not on me. Camera, not on me. So anyway, how have you all been? It's been about 2 weeks or so, just a little bit over, since we recorded last time. And I've been home. We did one little event this past weekend, and that was about it. So we've been prepping. We have a really, really busy fall coming up. A lot of traveling here over the next couple of months through the first weekend of December. We only have about one more weekend off before December hits. So we're just trying to prep for that, and, you know, house chores and wholesale orders and just everything under the sun. But so this past weekend we did a trunk show at Close Knit in Urbana, Illinois, and we were contacted by Brigida, the owner, to see if we would be interested in doing a trunk show because it was her 11th anniversary celebration that weekend. And so she had a big sale going on, and then we were there for a trunk show on Saturday. Did I say Sunday? I meant Saturday. So she likes to say her big claim to fame is that Stephen West kind of began his knitting career there, and he worked for her for a while and things of that nature. So she has her store in an older home. It's a smaller home, but very cute and quaint, and she's a lovely lady. So we had a good time meeting people and saying hi, and it was a quick and easy. It's only about 45 minutes to an hour away from us, so it's not my local yarn store. We actually don't go out to Champaign or Urbana a whole lot. We tend to go to either Bloomington or Decatur. Bloomington, Decatur is north and south of us, whereas Champaign and Springfield, if you're familiar with central Illinois, is east and west of us, and we don't tend to travel east and west too often. Boy, I can tell this is going to be a fun episode. I don't do a whole lot of talking anymore, and so it's just me with no break. It's going to be a quick episode. So we did that trunk show, but other than that, nothing really new. Went to knitting one night. My sister and I went to a movie last night, and I'll talk to you about that later. But yeah, I think that's about it. Nothing really new or exciting. So let's get to the knitting. What's taking about? I got nothing finished. I got one thing that's close, but it still needs a little bit of work done on it, so it's not there yet. So let's move into what's performing. First up for me is Cloudless, and this is by Suvi Samola. And I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Monologue in the Raspberry Parfait and Head in the Clouds colorways. And I'm using a size 4 US, which is a 3.5, and I will be also using a size 3 later on in the pattern, which is the 3.25. So let me show you that. I probably got a couple more rounds on it. Nothing to write home about, but I can show it to you. I would put in a progress keeper, but I'm afraid with how light this project is, if I were to put a progress keeper in and it was too heavy, it would weight that stitch. Sorry, I'm needles against the tripod. It would weight that stitch and elongate that stitch wherever I put the progress keeper. So here it is. And you might notice, hey Steve, there's something that kind of sticks out, and I'm not going to rip it back. One of my Raspberry Parfait stripes is 3 rows instead of 2. It's going to be a shop sample, and it is what it is. I'm not ripping back. It looks a lot worse on camera than it does in person. That's what I'm telling myself. So anyway, enjoying that. I just need to find time to work on it. I want to work on everything, and I don't have all the time, though I think I'm going to take some time to craft this afternoon. We kind of took the day off from dyeing. Andy's doing a little bit right now. He's just getting started in the kitchen, and it's about 3:30 in the afternoon or so. 2:30 in the afternoon. But we did some chores around the house and things, and recording is my work for the day. So I did do some other things this morning, administrative work. So, all right, next up are my Pop the Cork socks, and these are being knit out of Opal in color number 9286, which translates to Pop the Cork. And knitting this on a size 1 US, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. I showed you I had finished the second sock, or the first sock, and I am working my way down the second sock. Here it is, and I am in the process of decreasing for the gusset right now. If you do not know, I knit my socks with 2 circulars. That is my preferred method. That's the way I like to do it. I can use DPNs. I have in the past, but I definitely prefer 2 circs is how I like to roll. All right, next up, my Rhinebeck sweater, which needs more work, but it's getting progress, is Brownstone by Jared Flood, and I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Box Office in the Independent Will colorway, and I'm knitting this on a size 8, 7, and 6 US, which is a 5, 4.5, and 4 millimeter needles. So I have the sleeves done, and I've gotten to the point in the body where I've split for the V-neck. It's got a deep V-neck with closures and kind of a rolled over shawl collar, small shawl collar. And I am alternating every round or so with this because it is a hand-dyed speckled yarn. Ooh, look at how that's looking. Love it. And then right here is where my V-neck has started. And I just did some short rows in the back to kind of give that some shaping higher up in the back it does. I did move the beginning of the round. This was just joining in a new skein, so I have to weave those ends in and tighten that up. But because your beginning of the round was here on the side seam, I didn't want to keep carrying that up and switching that over on a purl. So I switched the cut and then rejoined at the collar, and I'm switching every other row now rather than every row like I was doing beforehand. But I thought about stopping, switching, but then I was like, you know what, Steve, if something happens, you're really going to be upset with yourself that you didn't continue, that you knit half the garment, including both sleeves, alternating skeins, and then you stopped halfway up the sweater. I was just like, you know what, go big or go home, right? So here is the sweater thus far, and I'm happy with it. I'm super excited. So I just got to finish up the body and put the sleeves on when I get there here in just a little bit, and go to town on that. So enjoying that. That needs to go on the road with me this next 2 weekends, which it will, and then get some more love. So hopefully you'll see some major progress on that in 2 weeks when we record again. Excuse me while I grab a drink. Parched. All right, next up is my Circumvolute hat. Circumvolute by Hunter Hanmerson, and I'm knitting this using Spun Right Round Squish DK in the Bug Jar colorway. And this is being knit on a size, I have a 4 written down. I really need to switch that. I think it's a size 6 US 4 millimeter needle. And this is the one that I'm close on. I have about 14 more rows. No, 12 more rows before I start decreasing for the crown. So here's where it's at. And it looks very different on camera than it does here. So what I think has happened is I was pulling from the center of the ball through here, and then all of a sudden I pulled and it was not connected anymore. And I don't know how it got disconnected, but I couldn't find the center of the ball anymore. So then I pulled from the outside, and it looks like there was a lot more yellow background here, and then it goes into gray. So that's interesting. That's what it is. I don't really care. I'm knitting it to knitting it. To knit it, it'll either be gifted or donated. So. But I do love the pattern. I think it's really cool. It's all done with slip stitches, and you cable the 2 stitches over, but you don't have to use a cable needle. I do use a cable needle when I cable, but with 1 stitch, it's kind of a mock cable, so you just kind of go around back of the first stitch and then knit through the first stitch. So it's very simple to do without a cable needle. Anything more than that, I don't like to take stitches off and then hope that I get them back on. I'd much rather just use a cable needle. And I'm sorry if you hear any truck noises or bird noises or things of that nature. My windows are open. It's a beautiful day here. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh, won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? So anyway, there's that hat. I hope to have that done soon. And last but not least, I brought up my granny square blanket to show you, because guess what? I finished a row. What? Alright, so my granny square blanket lives in my Ghana Crazy bag that I picked up at Shepherd's Harvest. I might have been talked into getting one of these. I showed it off before. So the whole blanket lives in here. And my scrap basket lives in there currently too. So this is my basket that I picked up at the Fiber Expo in Ann Arbor, Michigan a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. They do not sell online. They are an elderly couple. I don't even know if they were there last year. But this houses all my scraps and my minis that I pick up at shows. And this lives inside the big basket, which also has the blanket on the go, with all of the scraps that I've already used. So I am doing a 5-round granny square on a size C hook, and I have 15 5-round granny squares going across, and my plan is to go to 20 high and see how I like it. So that puts me at 300 granny squares that have to be crochet. Now, I am doing this contiguous crochet on the go, so I watched a tutorial, but I also slightly figured it out myself. So I can show you here. Here's the start. I'm so flippin' excited about this. This is like the granny square blanket I always wanted, because I like symmetry, and I like I liked it when the little squares are being framed out by a neutral color. So here's where we're at so far. And I'm just randomly picking the colors, or I'm having Andy reach his hand in. And I need to start getting some more minis at shows and events. So I've been working through them. And so this side does not have a border yet, because that'll be the last side that I do. Once I have it, as long as I go, I will do one single border down the side. So what I do with the contiguous thing, crochet on the go, is, so I make a square with no border, okay? And then what I will do is I will take that square, and then I will take this loop, and I will crochet granny squares onto the side of that square that I've made here, and then connect it with a slip stitch as I go in between the holes. And then I will come up the side of the next square right here and crochet. And then when I join the second square, the next one here, I crochet down the side, joining as I go, and then the bottom, joining as I go, and then up the side by itself. Then I make a next square. down the side joining as I go, across the bottom as I go, and then up the side by itself. And then once I get all the way across the granny square blanket to this edge, and this was my sock blank socks that I finished last time. This was it. So once I get here and I finish, then I crochet all the way across the top and back. So that's what I just did here. All this top edge was all done as I went back across these squares. So yeah, it's a nice size. It'll easily fit 2 people or nicely over a twin bed. So I'm enjoying that. Work on that when we watch TV together and things of that nature. So there's that. Sorry, I'm catching myself while looking at myself, not the camera. Okay, so let's move into what's in rehearsal. For me, I think I'll be casting on a pair of sock blank socks for Andy to have to work on while we're vending over the next couple of shows, to use as an example of what sock blanks are. So he's got to pick out his sock blank and then a contrasting color for his cuff, heel, and toe. So let's move into behind the scenes, my spinning. I am continually spinning on my loop bump that Andy got from me for my birthday at the Michigan Fiber Festival. And this is in the colorway Cryptic. It is a loop bullseye bump, and it's 6 ounces of merino, Angelina, and nylon. And so I am to the highlighter yellow. And then it'll go into like this very soft sagey green, and then some black again, and that copper brown, and then the highlighter yellow again. So I'd say maybe halfway on it. So working on that. I am going to chain ply that to keep the gradient effect when it is done. And I have considered knitting myself one of the quicker yarn stretchers, since it was gifted fiber and it was a luxury, purchase. And the Quaker yarn stretcher is meant for hand spun. I thought maybe I would knit that for myself for a fun pop of color underneath my North Face this winter. So we'll see. We'll see when we get there and how much yardage I get. All right. In the scene shop, my other crafting that I'm doing. I am still weaving on that scarf I showed last episode, but I did not feel like bringing it up. I actually didn't work on it until the last couple of days, but then I did put on a couple more inches of weaving on that. My stand has still not shown up, so I'm waiting for that to show up so that I can be lazy and have everything around me here in my craft room. But I did make some significant progress on my Dimensions kit. This is the Dimensions kit in the moment. And I'm finishing out the word life. Sorry, it's hard to see at this point. So I haven't backstitched. That'll take a long time, but or a decent amount of time. So I just have to fill in this little bit up here, and then it'll say live. And that's my last word I have to do. It'll say live life in the moment. But making some progress. It's nice to be home enough to work on this, because this doesn't go on the road with me, and we're away from home a lot. So, but yeah, slow but sure wins the race on that one. I did switch out the 14 count Aida that came with the kit for a 28 count even weave on that. And then I told you my weaving is my other crafting that I've been doing. So there's that. That's what's in the house this week. All right, let's move into the spotlight. What am I watching and reading? So I did forget to pull up the book that I did finally finish. I don't know if we told you last time, Andy and I finished season 4 of Grace and Frankie and enjoyed that. We'll be interested to see where season 5 goes. We're still watching Castle Rock, which is on Hulu. We catch that every week. That's our Wednesday night viewing. We also finished watching Making It. That season is over. Loved it. It is a faster craft competition, so you're not going to see needle arts and really on that, but it was a nice family-friendly show, which you don't see a whole lot of, and I was happy with the winner. I mean, there was 2 people I could see winning, and I was happy with the one who won. I don't know if we watched any more of Altered Carbon. My sister and I watched one night. We crafted up here in my craft room, and we watched the movie Mayhem, which is on Shudder, Shudder. It's a subscription service for horror movies, and my sister purchased into it for I don't know how long, but she purchased into it, so she shared her login with me because we shared Netflix with her. So we watched a movie Mayhem. It has the one of the guys that was formerly on Walking Dead, but it's about a virus that breaks out that causes you to lose all your inhibitions, and they have learned how to contain it through quarantine and to administer an anti-virus or whatever, but it takes time to take into effect. So there's this whole corporate world, this whole corporate building that breaks out into this mayhem due to this virus, and they filtrate the antivirus in to the building, but they have to quarantine it for 8 hours. And so it's kind of this office space slash Walking Dead type thing. So they don't take themselves too seriously, which is funny. It's definitely like a B-rated horror movie, which I think most of, sorry, my nose is itching. Ugh. Which is, probably what is mostly on Shudder. But, yeah. So it was alright. But my sister and I went out to the movies last night as like a sibling date, and we went to see The Nun, which is part of the Conjuring universe. So it's another backstory to the Conjuring movies. And it was alright. Didn't really make me jump that much. And I thought it was okay. So I'd probably give it 3 stars out of 5. So... all right, I did finish listening to a book that took me forever and a day to listen to, and I think part of it was due to I cannot personally relate to a lot of the things going on in this book. Now, once I sat down and was like, I need to finish this thing, and I stayed with it, the ending got better. But I listened to Lucky Boy by Shanthi Sekaran. And this was like 2-for-1 sale that I picked this up on. And I will just read you... I'll just kind of read you the details. Because I thought it was a good book. And I think it's a different type of genre for me than I usually listen to. And that's why I picked it up. But it just took me a really long time to get through it. Because it wasn't something I was jumping to go back to. I did rate it 3 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. So... and I may jump around here in the book description. It says, a gripping tale of adventure and searing reality, Lucky Boy gives voice to 2 mothers bound together by their love for one lucky boy. Solimar Castro Valdez is 18 and drunk on optimism when she embarks on a perilous journey across the U.S.-Mexican border. Weeks later, she arrives on her cousin's doorstep in Berkeley, California, dazed by first love, found, then lost, and pregnant. This was not the plan. And then it says, Kavya Reddy has always followed her heart, much to her parents' chagrin. A mostly contented chef at a UC Berkeley sorority house, the unexpected desire to have a child descends like a cyclone in Kavya's mid-30s. When she can't get pregnant, this desire will test her marriage, it will test her sanity, and it will set Kavya and her husband, Rishi, on a collision course with Soli when she is detained and her infant son becomes under Kavya's care. Lucky Boy is an emotional journey that will leave you certain of the redemptive beauty of this world. There are no bad guys in this story, no obvious hero. From rural Oaxaca to Berkeley's gourmet ghetto to the dreamscapes of Silicon Valley, author Shanthi Sekaran has taken real life and applied it to fiction. The results are moving and revelatory. So, I think because I don't have kids, and I honestly don't have ambitions to have kids anymore. I used to, and I don't anymore. I had a hard time relating to that drive of a mother, I think is what was, really drives this book. I did think that it was a very interesting cultural study in the U.S. with Mexican immigrants coming over to the U.S., which is Soli's story and, her having a child who's a U.S. citizen, and then her being detained as a Mexican immigrant. And then you have Kavya's story, who she is a U.S. citizen, but of Indian culture, and she can't have kids, and knowing what that means for her culture and the way that her family kind of looks upon her wanting to have a kid and looking into foster care / adoption as an option, and how they react to that as their immediate response is an interesting take. But once things started moving towards the end, I didn't know who I wanted to root for, because you have Soli, who's trying to get her biological son back after she was raising the kid for almost a full year before she was detained and her son was taken from her. And then she was away from him for almost a whole nother year while Kavya was raising him and in the process of adopting him. So both ladies, have this love for this boy, and you don't know who you want to root for. Neither one of them is bad, and both of them want this child so badly that got to me at the end. But the lead up to there, I had a hard time latching onto the story. But once I was in, I did enjoy it. So that was Lucky Boy. And I'm listening to something new, but I'll tell you more about that when I finish it. Alrighty. Stash enhancement. Guess what? I got none. I was good. So, haven't picked up anything, but maybe I'll get some mini skeins here over the next couple of weekends. Alright, this episode we have a giveaway for a project bag, and this project bag is pretty awesome. You're going to want to enter to win this. So I was contacted by Crystal of Spin Again's on Etsy. So Spin Again with an S, Spin Again's on Etsy, and this is her card. See, one thing I like about being by myself is that I can actually hold things up closer. Okay, and she does some really awesome project bags. So she told me she wanted to send some stuff, and I really didn't know what to expect. And then this came in the mail, and I was like, I want it. But it was good. And I'm giving both things away. She said I could keep one of the two things, but I'm being good. So the giveaway for this week is this project bag, which is so cool. So she takes these fabric scraps, and she makes project bags out of them, which takes a lot of work than normal. And it has a really cool kind of batik-y denim bottom. And it's got a nice little leather pull on the zipper and a basic white lined inside, but she also did include her card that you'll get, as well as a lavender wool balls to put in with your sock drawer and your project bag to make it, if you like lavender is not my thing, so but if you like lavender, it'll help with insects as well as make your things look or smell nice. So the nice thing is she kind of has patched it on different sides, so you can kind of see there. This was the one I almost kept, but I was like, really, Steve, how many more project bags do you need? Somebody should win this. And it's a nice, generous, I'd say about medium size. So to enter for this week, you must be a member of the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group. You must enter prior to the contest closing in 2 weeks, which is the 23rd, I think. I don't know. I already have the thread up on our Ravelry group. And I want you to go over to Crystal's shop. I've linked it in the thread, but it is Spin Again's on Etsy. And I want you to tell me, she's got a handful of items up there. Which one of the items she currently has for sale is your favorite? And that'll help her get an idea of what people are really looking for. So excited to see where her company goes and takes off. So if you are like that bag, go on over and enter on our Ravelry group, and make sure to favorite Crystal's shop on your Etsy profile. All right, last week we were giving away a skein of Baby Alpaca Grande from Plymouth Yarn in the burgundy colorway, which looks like this. It is 100% baby alpaca, and it is 110 yards and 100 grams, so it is a bulky weight. And last episode's prompt was, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream, since we were still in the summertime? And we still are. I mean, it's September, but it's slightly cooling down, but just a little bit. And the winner of that was number 30, and that is Family Diva, and that's Sue from Rockwall, Texas. So congratulations, Sue. She is a longtime viewer and supporter of the podcast. So Sue said, right now I like Baseball Nut at Baskin Robbins, but when the baseball season is over, she likes Rocky Road. So that's cool. I don't even see Baskin Robbins around here anymore. Gotta say. There was one in my town growing up, and then it went away after... Wasn't there the whole time I was growing up, but that's cool. I actually bought some ice cream last week. Some Moose Tracks ice cream. Still prefer my Dairy Queen, though. Anyway, August did come to a close since we spoke to each other last, so our Race to the Finished Object contest, we closed out August. September is open, so if you finish any project in the month of September, go ahead and post a picture in the Race to the Finished Object contest thread, and each post will get you a separate entry into the drawing, so it doesn't matter when you started the project, just has to be finished in the month that you're posting in, and that'll get you an entry into our drawing. Every month we have 2 prizes. So for August, our prize is another Spin Again's bag. So this is a smaller project bag that she sent along that looks like this, with this really cool patching here, and then it's got a front, a whole face of this fabric on the back. It's got that nut stripe, just cream inside, and you do get another lavender dryer ball or lavender wool ball as well. So this is a smaller project bag, great for a pair of socks or mittens or something like that. So the winner of this is number 209, and that's Mo's Crochet, and that's Mo from West Des Moines, Iowa, and she crocheted some Easter marshmallow bunnies. Funny story. So Mo has won from us before, but I've had the pleasure of seeing Mo multiple times this past couple of months at different events, and she's a lovely lady with a wonderful family. But both of our Race to the Finished Object contests were crocheted this month, winners. So that being said, our pattern from our featured designer, who is Corrado Lark, who is a wonderful up-and-coming designer. He also is Corrado Lark on YouTube, which I've just started watching him. He hasn't had an episode up in a while, though. Come on, Corrado. Where's it at? Anyway, the winner of one of his patterns is number 292, and that is Knittin' Quest, and that is Laura from Mableton, Georgia. So congratulations, Laura. She did a My Little Newborn hat that was crocheted. And so, Laura, if you would please take a look at Corrado's patterns on Ravelry. He is Corrado Lark. We also have him linked in the show notes, which can be found at dramaticknits.com. And let me know which one of his patterns you would like. Email me, Dramatic Knits, both of you. Email me. Mo, please send me your address again. I don't keep all of that, so if you would let me know that you've heard you've won and give me your address. Laura, email me, Dramatic Knits, with what pattern you like, and I will let Corrado know, and he will gift it to you. Also, Sue, please email me your address. Again, I could probably look elsewhere, but it's just easier if you email me your address. Oh, and Mo and Sue, if you would please include your email address as well if you would like tracking. So that being said, we've got the September 2018 Race to the Finished Object contest currently up and running. So anything you finish this month, enter it in there, and we will pull for prizes at the end of, at the beginning of October. And we do have our same featured designer, Corrado Lark. He's with us with another 2 months, September and October. And then we have another featured designer lined up after that. So, all right, let's move into center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. Our colorway of the month for September's Just Saying. The pre-orders have closed, but stay tuned for that. You can always check the shop by colorway and see what we have available there. But if you don't see a colorway listed, or you don't see a base on the colorway that you want, you can always place a custom order, and we'd be happy to dye it up for you. Did want to quickly touch upon the Leading Men Fiber Arts Retreat, which is going to be in September 2019. I just want to keep you up to date with that. We have officially named it. It is going to be called Knitting at the Estate, and while it is more than a knitting retreat, I consider it a crafting retreat, and all crafts are welcome. The classes and goodie bags and things of that nature are going to be more knitting related, so we went with Knitting at the Estate, which is going to be the acronym KATE, K-A-T-E. And we have created a website, knittingattheestate.com. And I am slowly but surely, there is not much there right now. So if you go over there, you're not going to get much details. But I'm going to slowly but surely release some details up there. If you want to stay up to date with when things will roll out, I can tell you right now, signups for the retreat will be mid-January 2019, and it will be a lottery system. But I would say sign up for the Leading Men Fiber Arts newsletter, which you can do via our website, leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. The newsletter link is all the way at the bottom, or you can wait for the pop-up to show up on the website. Or if you're on Facebook, go on over to Facebook and like Leading Men Fiber Arts. And then on the left-hand side is, in the tabs, is newsletter, and you can sign up via Facebook too. Excuse me. Walnut just fell out of the tree onto my rubberized roof, which is right outside my window here. It's very loud. Also creepy, I mowed the front yard because I was like, backyard doesn't really need it. But I mowed the front yard before I recorded, and I put the lawnmower back in the garage, and an ant fell out of our tree onto my arm, like way up in the sky. Freaked me out. I don't like ants. Anyway, so I talked about signing up for the newsletter. Oh, I did want to tell you, last time we talked about that there would only be 50 spots available. We have decided, after talking to the venue, which we've already signed our contract and everything, we are going to up that to 75 spots. Now, that being said, there are still only going to be 50 spots available on site, meaning your housing, you would be staying at the estate, either in the mansion or one of 3 other buildings on the grounds. The other 25 spots, you would be in charge of booking your own hotel, or if you are local, you can drive in each day. It is up to you. There is a town, the estate is in the city of Monticello, Illinois, which is a small town, but the actual downtown is about a 10-minute drive from the estate. So there is a hotel in that town, or if you want to stay a little further out, Champaign, Illinois is the closest big town, and that is about a half-hour drive. While Champaign does have an airport, I do not think it is like a big enough airport if you're looking to fly in. If you are looking to fly in, I would probably say you're going to want to fly into Bloomington, Illinois, which is probably about an hour's drive from the estate. And then you would probably want to rent a car or share with friends, rent a car with friends if you're flying in, something of that nature. Or you can just drive in. So 75 spots total, 25 will be off-site, 50 will be on-site. Off-site will get everything included, all your meals, goodie bag, everything, classes, other than the accommodations of staying at, getting your room on site. Like I said, the signups will be mid-January. The retreat itself is going to be September 19th through 22nd, 2019. So if I'm not mistaken, that is a Thursday through Sunday, and that'll be a Thursday afternoon through Sunday morning. So about noon and after on Thursday, you can start checking in, and then you will be expected to be off the estate by about noon on Sunday. So I think that's it about the retreat, so we're super excited about that. Let's quickly touch on upcoming shows. This weekend, Andy and I will be at a wool gathering in Yellow Springs, Ohio. This is our first time vending at a wool gathering, as well as vending anywhere in Ohio, so we're super excited. We've heard that they've got great ice cream and great cheese curds, and I'm going to be partaking in that probably multiple times, but I'm excited to check out and see who's going to be there. They have, I think, 100 plus vendors, it says, so super excited. If you are in the area of, I think it's Central Ohio, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure of Ohio's geography. It's just outside of Dayton, I think. Come on and check us out. I'm not sure of admission or things of that nature off the top of my head, but it is Saturday and Sunday, the 15th and 16th, I believe 10 to 6 on Saturday and 10 to 5 on Sunday. The following week, we will be up in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin for the Knit for Fun retreat, which is hosted by Ann Budd. and we were very generously offered to vend up at the retreat. So, as far as I know, there will be a shopping experience for retreat attendees on Friday evening after dinner, and then there will be shopping all day on Saturday for retreat goers, but they are going to open the market to the public Saturday afternoon. I'm not for sure about all of that, so kind of either follow us on Instagram or Facebook if you're not already doing that, or sign up for our newsletter, and I will try to give you as much detail as I can if you're in the area of Door County, Wisconsin. So I've heard it's beautiful. I'm excited to go up there, and we're going to be staying on the grounds of the retreat, but yeah, I'm excited that they have offered us a spot to vend. Again, I think it's going to be a smaller market, so be prepared for that, but I know there'll be some high quality stuff there. So that's the next 2 weeks, and then we'll be talking again before our next show. But yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and again, me flying solo, but show must go on. So if you are not already part of our Ravelry group, we'd love you to come join over there. And you can always subscribe to the show either via our website, dramaticknits.com, or you can find us on iTunes or YouTube. We love any star ratings, thumbs up, and comments. And until we see you again in about 2 weeks, we hope you knit something dramatic.